In this edition of CNN Marketplace Middle East, a red carpet welcome. The U.S. president arrives in Israel to start a six-nation tour and shore up the peace process. But is the political turmoil hurting Israel's economy? And Israel and the global credit crunch. Will the banking squeeze impact the country and the region? We talked to Bank of Israel Governor Stanley Fischer. Hello and welcome to CNN Marketplace Middle East. I'm John Defterius. Our top story, the American president and his visit to the region. George W. Bush kicked off his Middle Eastern tour in Israel this week, meeting with Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and President Shimon Peres, and later stopping in the West Bank for a visit with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. The goal of Mr. Bush's trip is to shore up the fragile Middle East peace process. During a press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister, Mr. Bush stressed that while creating security is paramount, peace can't be achieved without economic progress for Palestinians.
The best way to make sure that the Palestinians realize there's a hopeful future in which it's their interest to live at peace with Israel is for them to realize that they got an economy in which they can make a living.
The U.S. president visits Israel as violence rocked the region. Palestinian militants pounded Israel with mortar and rocket attacks, and the Israeli military returned fire. But violence in the region isn't stopping the Israeli economy from humming along. We put the issue in focus. The young people working with handhelds in this office in Tel Aviv work for Fring, a mobile internet service provider. The company is just one of more than 3,000 high-tech companies in Israel and is the creation of the country's most famous technologist, Yossi Mekelberg.
I'm looking usually for people which are 1/3 of my age and 3 times as smart as me. And together we are trying to do some nice things.
Nice things indeed. 65 companies have come to life under Vardy's tutelage. The veteran entrepreneur witnessed Israel's economy slowly changing from agricultural to a more high-tech based economy. 60% of the nation's exports are now based on high-tech products. And Israel boasts more startups per capita than any other country in the world.
In the world, global demand for high-tech products, and it seems that we are catering to this market very, very well.
While much of the industrialized world prepares for a possible recession, the Bank of Israel still expects to post good numbers. This year, it predicts the nation's gross domestic product will grow by around 4%, down from more than 5% last year. And foreign direct investment is surging, almost tripling from 2005 to 2006 and reaching almost $10 billion in 2007. Warren Buffett is a big reason why the 2006 number is so high. He shelled out more than $4 billion for Iskar Metalworking, the largest purchase the legendary investor has made outside the United States. Since then, a slew of big names made deals in Israel, including AOL, IBM, Microsoft, and Hewlett-Packard.
I think it sends a signal to everyone else within the world economy. We trust Israel economy. We can make profits while working with Israelis, and regardless of the political situation, it's still well wise to do that.
The political situation hasn't proven to be a big stumbling block for the Israeli economy so far. Analysts say it's isolated itself from political upheaval by focusing on the high-tech, pharmaceutical, and chemical industries, and by having a highly educated workforce. Even so, a lasting peace agreement could only improve the situation.
I think the direct benefits of a peace agreement would be immense, both for the Israelis and the Palestinians. It's a well-known fact that investors are less inclined to invest when there is political instability. Let's bear in mind there will be an extra growing economy that has more than 4 million people, the Palestinian economy. So a peace dividend can be only positive.
Yossi Mekelberg says while a political solution to the Israeli-Palestinian question is important, the more pressing issue is the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. Though the high-tech sector is prosperous, it represents a very thin layer of the Israeli workforce.
The high-tech today provide direct employment only to 5.7% of the population. Myself and my friends in the high-tech sector are worried about it. This is number one issue, I think, on the table right now.
As Israel and the rest of the world looks for new sources of energy, Libya becomes a hotter spot for hungry oil companies. That story tops our quick hits this week. Bahrain's Gulf Finance House announced plans to build an economic zone for energy firms operating in Libya. No word yet on how much Gulf finance will put into the project. Libya plans to double crude oil production by 2012. Expatriates working in the Gulf won't get to take advantage of the perks provided by the new GCC common market. A Bahraini minister said this week that agreements allowing freedom of movement, residency, and employment throughout the GCC won't apply to expats. Only Gulf citizens and investors will be able to enjoy those advantages. And bringing the Louvre to Abu Dhabi is no longer a mirage in the desert. Emirati officials sealed the deal this week to bring the iconic name to the UAE. Abu Dhabi will pay more than $500 million for the Louvre brand and for hundreds of artworks to be loaned from Paris. UAE officials call the deal an historic step in Abu Dhabi's plan to develop a giant cultural and tourism complex. Coming up on Marketplace Middle East, Israel and the slowdown of the world's economy. The growth of the high-tech industry is fueling Israel's economic engine. Will the global downturn hurt exports? Bank of Israel Governor Stanley Fischer gives us the answer when we come back.